I have analyzed the spiritual teachings and verses from antiquity until I found the common core in all of them. And I'm talking about in these videos how to begin reading the smaller script, the smaller verse type material, and how that works in the brain, and it's going to grow into the bigger material. My name is Dan Paulson. Welcome to the channel. The last video I just did on this was how we hook into some of the styles of the story, where if there's a cup or a bowl or a house or something like that, wineskin, that those are us, that we put ourselves into that place right there, and then we begin to interpret the story that way. But not all verses are that way. Before I get into really complex ones, I want to talk in this video about one that's less common, and I think it's not an instruction for healing. However, it has information in there for us that are on the path that I think is kind of important. And what it does is it kind of illustrates the rarity of what this is, but you have to think it through. Let me read a verse from Buddha first. This one starts right off. Ordinary people hate solitude, but the master makes use of it, embracing the aloneness, realizing their oneness with the whole universe. Now, I can remember at times I'm trying to interpret this verse and figure it out, and I figure out, naming is the origin of all particular things. That's judging. That's me grasping onto things. And I'm going through these verses and trying to work them through in my mind like that. And I get to something like this and I go, I don't have to grow into that. I'm already kind of that way. I'm an introvert. I've always been isolated. I look at that and go, is that something you're supposed to do? You're supposed to strive towards it? I would imagine so. But to people on the path, I would think you would look at that and go, oh, I already do that. I do that naturally. And, well, that's a fun thing to note. So let me start bringing in some other pieces. What I do is I compare a lot of data points to see what's going on. And here is what I find. In a cryptic way, we see that Moses was saved in the basket in the Nile River from Pharaoh in the story of Exodus. So in this monomyth, what we have right in the beginning is that this individual Moses was somehow isolated out from the crowd. Hadn't been called yet or anything. This is not the calling. The calling doesn't happen until he's on Mount Horeb later. This is being saved out at a younger time. Jesus was saved when Joseph fled to Egypt from Herod. So we see another element. Jesus is also on the monomyth, and that is the same sort of thing. Before he grows up, before he goes his 40 days in the desert, all of his preparation and all of that. Now, anyway, okay. Here's another pair from the Bible as well. Many carry the ark, but only the priests can look inside of it. But we know this from Jewish material early on. There's this idea that there is something being carried that only a few people can look inside of. And we have from Jesus, many are standing outside the narrow gate, but few are chosen. There's a little bit variation in what is happening here. What I want to suggest as I go through this and I look through here and I try to analyze why, where, how, what is it about me that makes me find this? And when I find people that are interested, what is it about them that makes them the way they are? And what I finally start looking at and realizing in common is that everybody seems to be introverted people that can sense and feel more than others. You know, they don't talk about, yammering just on and on and on about nonsensical things and stuff like that. We tend to be fine, isolated and whatnot. And it would seem to me that evolution would have brought it that way. But that also, introversion is, it's less than probably 4, 5, 6% of the population. The NF, introverted feelers. There's just not that very many. So I think that there's a brain type that is necessary to begin with, and I don't know that they knew that, but they were certainly identifying that there's something going on. Then when I go back to the Buddha verse about the solitude, and I realize, that's a part of who and what we are. And I think when this becomes important for us to know is that it's not necessarily a verse on what we're supposed to do, but perhaps a verse on how we are, that we're isolated, that we're different, and that as we go along this path, we have to know that. Because as we get excited and learn things, we're going to turn to people to the left and to the right. Once we start interpreting these verses and going, oh, I see that. I can now interact with it. It's going to be so exciting. You're going to be showing people to the left and to the right that are going to be going, I got no idea what you're talking about, because their brain's not wired to see it that way. Or they might see it academically and go, oh, okay, that's nice. Yeah. Let's go get dinner. Something like that. The interest is going to be very personal when that happens. Okay. And this won't be complete without saying everything I want to say. Okay, so in Buddha's material, he's telling you pretty much that not very many people are going to do this. Then you get into religious material, and there's something different going. Many called, many carry it, something like that. Here's what's happened is now that teaching becomes the ark, the metaphoric ark. The religion itself is the carrier. The ark is the stories, the nested stories that are in there. And everybody carries the Bible. The people that are carrying the ark are the people that believe in the religion is true. They are carrying the religion. What is inside of it is the template. They're not seeing the template. They're the carriers. The people that are standing outside of the narrow gate, the many called are the Christians. That's not everybody. That's everybody that is called to grab this ark. If this is the ark you're carrying, you're the called person, but few are chosen. The few chosen have to enter the narrow gate. You have to find the template you're going to turn inward with it. Wrapped up within these verses in the most clever way is verbiage that makes people think they've got it when you look at it and analyze it and go, 2 billion people are not a few chosen, especially those are a lot of roads outward leading to destruction. The interpretations are that way. Okay. So Buddha's telling us that very few are going to do it. And then in the material, it's telling us that if you're a carrier of this material, pay attention, because there's a way inside of it that you can use, but not many people are going to do it. Anyway, that continues to show up here and there as a common motif, letting us know that you're going to be kind of in isolation. I get frustrated with that because I know that because of the percentage, there's not going to be very many, but that should bring it to millions and millions of people that might understand this, that we need to reach out to them. There's got to be a handful. But I think it's going to have to also not just be the personality type, because there are people that have this personality type that don't have the life experience or the interest. So it's only one part of a filtration system of getting along and learning this material. I think it's certain people, certain brains, certain interest, and it isolates. And verses like this, sometimes you'll just read some of those and go, I don't see that I'm supposed to figure out anything there. That's just telling me to, I already sit by the ocean or by the river all day by myself in quiet contemplation. So you'll see those. Anyway, okay, that's it for this video. In the next one, I'll start getting more into the deeper verse, or the next style. Actually, it's not really deeper. It's just a different way of looking at it. If you enjoyed the video, you're a seeker. Please like and subscribe. And we now have a Discord server up. I'll post the link below. Please come and join and I guess help the community. Take care. We'll see you in the next video.